Ladies and gentlemen, for the last 2 years, I watched my beloved Bangladesh suffer. Fear has entered homes, workplaces, and campuses. This is not the Bangladesh we built. This is not the Bangladesh for which 3 million people sacrificed their lives in 1971. Let me begin with the truth about July and August 2024. It was not a peaceful student movement. From the beginning, my government tried to resolve the issue peacefully through dialogue, legal process, and patience. But behind the language of reform, organized groups were working to turn students' demand into violent political instrument. In 2018, responding to student demands, we abolished the quota system. In 2024, when the High Court annulled the decision, the government appealed because we wanted to uphold the abolition. I personally took the initiative for dialogue with the students and invited them to Ganabhavan, the Prime Minister's residence. Three ministers also held discussions with them. A quota reform movement was turned into a one-point demand for my resignation. False propaganda was spread in a planned way. Genuine students were emotionally manipulated, while organized groups used their movement as cover for and violence and regime change. Muhammad Yunus himself said this was a meticulously designed movement led by a mastermind. His own words expose the truth. It was not simply a spontaneous student protest. There was no visible or responsible leadership. Instructions were given invisibly. It was organized, directed, and used to create a path to power outside the ballot box. From July 15th, the character of the movement changed. Killings, arson, attacks, and looting began. State property was destroyed. Bangladesh television was attacked and set on fire. So was different buildings like Shetu Bhavan, the Directorate General of Health Services, the EPI vaccination program building, Farmgate Metro Rail Station, flyover, Mohakali Elevator Expressway, science research facilities, the Disaster Management Office, a national database center, a COVID-19 special hospital, Bangladesh Medical University, residential hotels, industrial facilities, businesses, prisons, and including Noshingdi and other district jails were attacked, vandalized, or burned. All the terrorist criminals were released. Awami League offices were vandalized across the country. Leaders and workers were attacked and killed. Homes of ministers and senior figures associated with my government were looted and burned. The media was also targeted. Nearly 50 media center, private television stations, and newspaper offices were attacked or set on fire. Journalists were killed. Law enforcement agencies came under organized attack. Police, Sepai, the other officers were killed and their bodies were hung from flyover. Around 460 police stations were outposted or set on fire, and in some, personnel were trapped inside buildings and burnt alive. Weapons were looted. Officers were beaten to death. According to persecuted police members, at least 3,000 personnel were killed, attacked, tortured, or subjected to serious violence. So, I ask a simple question. In such a situation, what is the duty of law enforcement? When police stations are burned, government buildings are attacked, public infrastructure is destroyed, officers are killed, and weapons are looted, does the state have no duty to protect life and property? In every country, law enforcement has a responsibility to protect citizens, state institutions, and their own lives. This is not a crime. That is the duty entrusted to them by law. At the same time, I wanted the truth to be known. That is why I formed a Judicial Inquiry Commission on 18th July 2024. Its purpose was clear. Every casualty had to be investigated. Every incident of violence had to be examined, and every family deserved to know the truth. I met victims' families, visited the injured, and instructed the authorities to provide the highest level of medical treatment free of cost. On 1st August, I strengthened the inquiry into a three-member commission so that the investigation would be credible and comprehensive. Bangladesh's crisis is not only a domestic crisis, it affects regional peace, security, trade, development, and human dignity. That is why I call upon the international community and all the friends of Bangladesh to stand with the people of Bangladesh in their struggle for democracy, justice, and peace. A stable Bangladesh matters for South Asia, for the Bay of Bengal, for development partners, and for all countries that believe in democracy, rule of law, and justice. The next decade can be a decade of recovery and renewal, but only if democracy is restored and the people are allowed to decide their own future. That is why I make these demands clearly. The ban on the Awami League must be lifted, political prisoners must be released, false cases must be dropped, freedom of speech must be restored, media freedom must be protected, judicial independence must be guaranteed. Law enforcement agencies must serve the people, not those who use power for revenge. These are not demands for one party only. There is necessary steps to save Bangladesh. Whatever fate awaits me, I will return to my people. I cannot stay away while my beloved countrymen are suffering. I know I may be detained, I may be sent to prison, they may try to enforce verdicts issued in fabricated cases, but fear cannot decide my duty to the people. My life moved beyond calculations of personal safety long ago. In 1971, I was in imprisonment with my mother. My son, Joy, was born in captivity. In 1975, I lost my family. I spent 6 years in exile. After returning home, I fought against military ruler, dictatorship, and political conspiracies. There, were 19 assassination attempts against me. Even the grenade attack of 21st August 2004 could not stop me. Therefore, I am not worried about my own future. I am worried about the future of Bangladesh. I want to return because the people deserve security, development, prosperity, and peace. They deserve a state that protects them, an economy that gives them opportunity, and a democracy that gives them rights. My return and the return of the Awami to the democratic process is not about power. It is about putting Bangladesh back to the right track. It is about reviving the country's path of development, progress, secularism, stability. I want to return to Bangladesh to one purpose, to stand beside the people and help improve their lives. The people are the source of all power. I believe in them, I trust them, I love them, and I will return to them. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu.